Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and if you hear what sounds like some guys in the background working, like subcontractors working on some stuff, that's because there are some subcontractors in the background that are working on some stuff. Okay, so just wanted to get that out of the way. And also I wanted to remind you, every once in a while it's always great to remind you of what the talking heads in crypto that were handed the Bitcoin, Ethereum talking points somewhere around 2017, early 2018. They were handed their talking points and they have not been allowed to talk about what they really think ever since then. Here's Anthony Pompliano, August 31st, 2017. If you think Bitcoin went on a tear once CNBC and institutional investors learned about it, just wait till they discover Ripple XRP. But now he's got his Bitcoin talking points. He's had them in hand for at least since around that time.
Check out Bitcoin prices.
CNBC is also teeing him up because they're ready for another Bitcoin push on Wall Street, I guess.
This morning they're falling sharply, dipping below the 59,000 level in overnight trading. The sell-off was said to be sparked by a wave of leverage-driven liquidation after a drop in Ethereum. Joining us now to discuss the crypto market is Anthony Pompliano, founder and CEO of Professional Capital Management. We could probably go back in time with almost identical price movements to identical levels, and we've had you on in the last 3 months talking about it. We've seen a break under 59 a couple of times, only to go back above 64, 65. What do we make of it?
Well, I think it's just sideways summer, right? You know, people kind of saw this huge run up after the Bitcoin ETF got approved earlier this year. A lot of capital flew into that, both retail and some institutional. And when the summer hit, people, I think, kind of just went away. And so as we've traded sideways, there has been volatility. But I do think that if you look at the historical kind of bull run cycles, kind of end of Q3 into Q4 is when things start to pick up. And you'll start to see, you know, kind of the asset price rise from there.
I mean, because some people, no matter what, hold Bitcoin, does it not take a lot of selling to have pretty big moves in the price? Is it like on thin volume, would you say?
You definitely have an illiquid asset, right?
Is it?
A lot of times, depending on which metric you look at, whether it's 1 year, 2 year, it can be 60 or 70% of the assets being held by people who are long-term oriented.
That's what I mean.
And so it's very different than, you know, many other financial assets, but also leverage has definitely increased in the use in the market. And so whenever you see kind of an illiquid asset, you get, you know, a good amount of leverage in there.
At this point in crypto, who in the world is dumb enough to use leverage? This always blows my mind.
It can move in both directions with more volatility. And if you compare, you know, Bitcoin to maybe something like gold, they're both sound money principles, but Bitcoin's 1 year volatility is 0.35, gold's is 0.09. And so that volatility is part of what draws people, that they want the upside of something like Bitcoin, but they still want the sound money principle.
So they still want to trade it. What will Bitcoin's reaction be if the economy gets hit hard, as Barry Knapp was just saying he thinks will happen? What will Bitcoin's reaction be if there's a soft landing?
Yeah, so I think that the more people talk about a potential recession, the less likely that it is that we're going to have a recession, right? People are kind of eyes wide open. They're paying attention to that. And the other thing is, you know, a lot of us criticize the Fed, and rightfully so, for many things. But one thing that they did get right is they've kind of reloaded their ammunition. And so now we've got rates over 5%. They've sold off $2 trillion or so off their balance sheet. If we get to some sort of market slowdown or downturn, the Fed seems to be more trigger happy. They're a little bit more sensitive. You saw this with the 2 emergency rate cuts in 2020. And I do think that they have that ammunition now to fight that market downturn.
But what's it mean for Bitcoin? Because I still can't figure out like what the correlations are necessarily. It doesn't always do what I expect it to do.
Yeah, I think that if cheap capital floods into the market, people will go and they will push out on the risk curve. The nice thing about Wall Street is that Bitcoin is still considered one of the riskier assets in their portfolio. And so I think assets will flow there. But also I think that if you look at the crypto industry, they look at this as an asset that they buy and they hold. They do not sell this asset. And so it'll remain illiquid. You'll have Wall Street kind of allocating to it. And as we've seen when interest rates have gone down or cheap capital has flooded into the market in the past, Bitcoin has done very, very well.
That is Anthony Pompliano, quote, formerly Army Intelligence. Okay? We think formally. And then here's Vitalik Buterin. I just happened to see this going around today. This is when Vitalik Buterin was saying the truth back in 2022. Ripple's XRP is better than Bitcoin, says Vitalik Buterin. I'm leaning back in my chair here because I'm feeling kind of relaxed. So I'm going to try to talk loud enough so that you can hear me. My microphone's not all that good anyway, but usually you can hear me just fine. Coinbase CEO Brian Armstrong predicts crypto payments fueled by advancements in stablecoins, L2 blockchain technologies will be next explosive growth area. Well, who is it that's about to release a stablecoin? Oh, that's right. Real USD from Ripple. More hits from the Black Swan capitalists.
I think there's actually been a real stablecoin invented out there yet, but I think that we may be able to create the first ever real stable.
This is the holy grail, a stablecoin that's backed by gold, where you can track your ownership with the blockchain.
Coin with real assets backing it. And so the ultimate goal is to improve the accessibility, the transparency, the provenance, and the trust behind gold and moving gold around. And so we've got a pretty heavy initiative focused on trying to work with a broader group of the refiners, the banks, the traders, to come up with a system that is gold backed and allows us to move gold around quickly, freely, with confidence, with trust, and with transparency, and actually ultimately provide gold as an alternative to the US dollar.
Whoa. Check this out. Beware, scammers are pretending to be CoinDesk journalists on social media and elsewhere. Be careful. Well, I don't know if you call them scammers, but for years now, we've watched CoinDesk, the writers at CoinDesk, try to guide everybody in the direction of Bitcoin and Ethereum and write negative things about Ripple and XRP any chance they get, whether it's true or not. So maybe you already had a scammer problem over at CoinDesk. Check this out, 105 trillion world economy, 2023 global GDP. And then I showed this in the last video. Brooks Entwistle from Ripple is proposing or predicting that 10% of global GDP will be tokenized by 2027. That puts a cool over 10 trillion in the tokenized market, right? Check this out. Remember when they were telling you that there was a crypto reset? It's almost like every other day, Gary Gensler is filing another lawsuit. Today, he's done sent a Wells notice to OpenSea, the NFT platform, from the SEC, calling NFTs on the platform securities. This is from OpenSea. We've received a Wells notice from the SEC. We're shocked that the SEC would make a move that threatens creators and artists. We're ready to stand up and fight for our industry. Tyler Winklevoss, the SEC is now trying to claim that NFTs are securities. What's next? Baseball cards, comic books? Gary Gensler's bad faith and un-American war on crypto is expanding. Digital Web3 creators and artists are now in the crosshairs. I think it might be about this, folks. Trump has been putting out his own NFTs. Is this just another vector of attack that the bad guys that Gary Gensler is a part of are going to try to go at Trump?
Is your favorite president, Donald J. Trump, with some very exciting news. By popular demand, I'm doing a new series of Trump digital trading cards. You all know what they are. We've had a lot of fun with them. It's called the America First Collection.
Is this just another vector of attack where they're going to try to go after Trump for issuing NFTs? That's what it feels like. check this out. Emi Yoshikawa from Ripple Japan. It says, this is the SBI booth at WebEx. We're running a campaign where you can win official Expo NFTs. Imagine that. So NFTs are okay in Japan. Based on XRPL, the photo shows CEO, this guy, Ripple SVP Eric Van Miltenberg, yeah, smiling broadly while showing off a freshly minted NFT. And then here's another shot. This is the Ripple booth there. Check this out. Tap into the tokenized economy. Build on the XRP Ledger. And then what did she say here? I recommend the XRP Ledger developer Discord channel. Your technical questions will be answered. So anyway, a lot going on. Now, in DAI XRP, here's what we're going to do. There's a shock report / video that's out, okay? I'm going to show you that because all of their lies, all these bad guys' lies are falling down all around them, folks. It's happening right before our eyes. And then I want to ask a question, and I think we've got the answer. Why did Mark Zuckerberg write that letter acknowledging that they censored Americans and that the Biden administration had instructed him to do so and pressured him to do so? Why did he issue the letter? That's what we're going to talk about. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, tell your friends and family. Here comes the shock video.